We want to welcome you all. Thank you for making it to this call. I would like to request you just to remind your friend, your neighbor, your relatives, wherever they are, remind them of this seminar so that nobody will miss out. Otherwise, you're all very welcome. And please remember, as you log on, let us know where you're logging on from. For example, I am Tama Sembiro, and I'm logged on from Mukono. You see you, Mukono. Please let us know where you're logging on from so that we welcome you in a very special way. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As we start this meeting, we are going to open with a word of prayer, and please allow us to pray together. Please humble yourselves wherever you are and let us start in a word of prayer. Praise the Lord. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you and we bless your name for the gift of life. And we thank you, Lord God, for bringing us to this place and this space to gather together, Lord God. We are separated by so many miles, but yet we are united in our purpose to learn together, to grow and strengthen our abilities on this journey of parenting. We thank you, Abba Father, for allowing us to use this space of technology that allows us to connect and for the opportunity to support one another in this journey. We thank you for our speakers, Dr. Nsubuga and Dr. Joy. We pray for clarity, oh God, Lord, that as they speak, they will speak with clarity, that Lord, you'll help each and every participant on this call, that you'll give us patience, you'll give us understanding, and we'll be able to understand and grasp what is being taught us today, Lord God. Help us, Father, that as we continue to parent in this era with so many challenges, that will be good examples of your grace, of your kindness in our homes, at our places of work, in our communities, and every space that you've given us to be. We pray that our discussion this afternoon, this evening, Lord, will be fruitful, and everybody who will come in this space will be encouraged, will be equipped to handle all challenges, especially concerning our mental well-being. We thank you, Lord God, and we pray that you continue to fill us with your presence and help us, oh God, to engage with one another and to learn well. In Jesus' name we have prayed and we have believed, and everybody say, amen, amen. And amen. Yeah, we want to welcome you once again, those who are joining us. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tama Hareno Sembiro, and I'm an alumni of Creative Parenting course, and I serve in this space of Family Life Network whenever opportunity calls. And I'm so glad to be one of your MCs, and I'll be serving with my sister, Anita Malinga. We are here together and we shall be your MCs today. We are here with our very own Mr. Langa, Stephen, who is the founder of Family Life Network, and his wife, Auntie Beatrice Langa, and a team of many people from Family Life Network. We are here and we shall be working together to carry on this program. Please allow me to read through our program as it is, and then we continue. Our program has welcoming of people and welcoming you and requesting you to put your locations. Then we have an opening prayer, which we have done. We are going to have opening remarks and information about CPC, which is Creative Parenting course, and UNPN, and that will be our very own elder, Stephen Langa, who will take us through that. And we'll have some testimonies of people's experiences from CPC, especially the current one. Then we shall have a report about BANG. BANG is one of the entities in Family Life Network, which is a school outreach. We shall hear some details from that. Then we shall have an opportunity to someone in the audience to share with us what you have benefited from the earlier parent seminar, the presentations we have had before. And after that, our elder, Stephen Langa, will come and welcome our first speaker, our first presenter, after which we will have the second presenter. Then we get a very short break, then have question and answers, then do a brief evaluation, and then have parting shots and comments, and then we'll close in prayer. We are praying and hoping that by 6 o'clock, we shall be done. And so I would like to take this singular opportunity to welcome and invite our one and only Mr. Stephen Langa to come and give us opening remarks and give us some more details about CPC and UNPN. Welcome, Mr. Langa. Everybody,
Yes.
enjoy your stay here.
Yes, thank you very much, Tama, and for being such a wonderful MC to us. And thank you indeed, everyone who has joined us on this Sunday. We don't take anybody for granted. We don't take your time for granted. We know that it's a very, very big sacrifice for anybody to actually, for anybody to take such time to be in such a program. There are many things that people would wish to do. And so because of that, we don't want to take anybody's time for granted. But I'm trusting that you're going to find these 2 hours that we're going to spend together here worthwhile, because the subjects we're going to touch today is a very, very sensitive one. But just to let you know who we are, those of you who have been following our seminars, you know who we are. We are an organization known as Family Life Network. That's the mother of all our programs and other activities that we do. Family Life Network was established in 2002. So as of now, we are talking 22 years old, and our vision is a simple one: to bring restoration to family values and morals in our society. And so we have programs all the way from children of 10 years up to adults. And for adults, we have the creative parenting course, which some people are already going on. We've had this course since 2006, and hundreds of parents have actually benefited from it. And the parenting program, we do it under Uganda National Parents Network, okay, UNPN. So that's one where we do the parents program under. And this program, this monthly webinar or virtual seminar, is actually one of the activities of the Uganda National Parents Network, which is a baby of Family Life Network. Another baby that is under the Uganda National Parents Network is the Creative Parenting course, CPC, which we have a current class going on. And thanks to COVID, because COVID has made it possible for us to be able to do these classes online. So far, we've been doing online classes once a week, 2 hours. And so far, it's going on very, very well. And we are glad to report that parents are really benefiting. We have parents as far as Juba. We have other parents upcountry, Gulu, Lira, various places in Kampala here. And so we are really glad that this is serving the need of parents. from a wide range of places. Yeah. Then we are also glad to report about the youth program that we have, which is called BANG, B-A-N-G, and I think you'll be hearing a little about that. That is a youth program which we have, and it is being rolled out in universities and in schools, and this is what is going on. We are also involved in advocacy. In advocacy, we believe that if you don't handle issues of advocacy, if you don't look at things like laws and policies and so on, you can injure families, because laws can be made that injure families. Policies can be made that are not family friendly. And so it is our role as Family Life Network and other Ugandans who really believe in the family to play our role in advocacy to see that we encourage family-friendly laws and policies and practices to be done. So in a nutshell, that's who we are and that's what we do. And incidentally, we have an opportunity for people who want to be involved. And maybe I'll be talking a little more about that later. If you want to be involved in one way or another, either in kind or you want to support, it's welcome. Or you want to volunteer time or in kind, whatever, because this is a big effort that requires more hands. And so if you feel you can lend your hand in any way, even prayer-wise, we need prayers, and all that, you are welcome to do that. And so we are glad that a number of people have joined us and are really participating in what is going on. And it is really fulfilling to see people's lives change. Maybe I can just share this briefly. This week, Beatrice and I were in Lira. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're training parents of street children and of children who are in prison, in remand homes and so on, children who have committed crimes and so on. And it was so gratifying to talk to these parents, and to see change, to see transformation taking place, to see hope coming back when people thought, oh, it's over. I mean, a child is in prison or what have you. It's over. Can anything good come out of this? But, we were so happy to bring hope, because, in life, until you enter your grave or until you're put in your grave, anybody can be transformed. Anybody's story can change. Anybody has an opportunity to start afresh. And especially today, as we're going to be talking about what we're going to talk about, we want to say that there is hope. There's great, great hope. No matter what has happened, no matter what the situation is, there's great hope. And as we're coming back, the day we're coming back, we just happened to drop in a certain office, just wanted to say hi, bye to someone, but we didn't find the person that we wanted. Then we entered the next office, and here was this lady, and she's like, so you don't know, you may not know me, but in 2003, I was in such and such a school. You spoke to us, and I made a commitment to be sexually pure. And I want to report to you that I kept the commitment until 2017 when I got married. And now I'm married 7 years and I have 4 children. I mean, for us, that just made our day, So we realized that it's not a waste of time. The time spent on young people, time spent on programs like these is not a waste of time. Somebody's life, somebody's destiny can be changed. And even today, somebody's destiny can be changed personally, family-wise, marriage-wise, parenting-wise. Somebody's destiny can be transformed. And that's the attitude we should have as we face today. So with those words, I want to say enjoy the seminar, enjoy every bit of it, and let's learn together. So over to you, moderator. Moderator, are you there? Maybe Anita, you can. Take over.
All right. Thank you so much, Elder Langa. Yes, Tamar, please come in. Otherwise, the host had, I think, in his controls, muted the session. Tamar, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anita. Thank you. We appreciate you, Mr. Langa, for those opening remarks. Thank you for taking us through what CPC, UNPC, and the Family Life Network is. And I want to testify that I am one of the beneficiaries of Family Life Network. I attended the first class in 2006, and I am a wonderful parent, all because I chose to take that course, that special course, creative parenting course. I have great testimonies. I am a happy mother. I am a happy wife because of that choice that I made. Thank you once again, Mr. Langa and Aunt Beatrice, for hearkening to God's call and for starting this program. It has helped so many of us. Thank you once again. I would like to welcome Jackie. Jackie is part, do you have anybody in the current CPC intake to give us a testimony? You have a minute. Do we have somebody on the call? Yes, Jackie.
Good evening to everyone. Yes, let me scan through and see if there is one. But I've seen Anne Kanyango. I don't know if she's able to give a testimony. She's in the current class. Otherwise, if not.
Okay, it is well. Let us continue with the program. I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to welcome all those who joined us after we had started. Please feel free to let us know where you are logging on from. We would like to know and welcome you in a special way. Just type in the chat and tell us where you are logging on from. Welcome again and again. I would like to welcome you, Brian, to take us through a brief report on the recent bank school outreach that you had in Lira. Please take the floor, Brian.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tama, and our moderator. I'm so glad to present to you this report from Lira, and an experience that we had that was so wonderful. A good evening, everyone. And my name is Brian, and supporting Family Life Network under a program called BANG. BANG simply stands for Becoming a New Generation. And the kind of generation that we are becoming is a generation of values, morals, and character. And so we had an opportunity from the 13th to the 16th, that was last month, to go to Lira district. And we partnered together with our friends, the Lango Intercessors of Uganda, and then they helped us mobilize the schools in which we did this outreach. It was a very wonderful outreach, and the different headmasters and institutional directors really commended the outreach. And so on, we managed to reach out to 4 schools, And these schools were just in this way. We reached out to the first school, which was Mentor SS, and Mentor SS has 2 campuses. So the first campus, that's Bagwen, and then the other one, the main campus. In total of Mentor SS, they had about 1,500 students. All these ones welcomed the topics which we had prepared for them, and such topics, these included the sexuality, and then we also developed a model where we asked them questions, and we did a response survey questionnaire where we asked the teenagers what challenges affect teenagers in attaining their goals. What are these challenges that affect them? So this was our survey question, beside the programs which we went to do. So in this survey, they had really so many astonishing answers that they gave, and they gave back their answers, and our friends from the Lango intercessors are really coming up with a report on that in that survey, and we shall also be sharing it very shortly with the parents. In this mission, we had a team from Family Life Network, and then also Elder Langa went with us together with his wife, Madame Beatrice. They were with us all throughout in this mission to the schools in Lira. We managed to also go to St. Gracious Secondary School. It's a very known school there, which was opened by His Excellency, the President of Uganda. And it has also a very big number of students. This school also has 2 campuses. It has St. Gracious, that's Sagras, and then Leo Atubu College. So both of them were together, and in total there we had about 1,800 students all gathered in one place. And our team delivered very, very, very well. The students, we had a few observations actually, even as we were on this mission. We observed that even with the little time that we had with the students in these schools, they had so many questions. Teenagers surely have so many questions that are still unanswered. Some come from their family background, some come from the life experiences that they have gone through, some encounter them as they morph, as they transition through the stage that they are in. But they had so many questions, and so we gave them questionnaires, and they asked the questions which we have and are revising, and we are basing on this to go back for our next engagement. We also observed that the majority of these students in the schools that we visited, they welcomed the message very, very well. These messages, the messages of abstinence, the values, self-discovery, sexuality, they welcomed these messages, even though some of them were so a bit uncomfortable with the message because it was direct into the heart of the teenagers. But they welcomed the messages. It was so fun feeling, and exciting for them to have us share with them. Also, students, they just could not have enough. We observed that they really could not have enough. They still wanted the team to be around, and they demanded for more time, especially after the session. We discussed this with the directors of these schools, and we noticed that indeed they need counseling sessions, or they need days or particular time for other engagements with counselors and mentors from Family Life Network. We also observed that there is still a big demand for school outreach programs. And we don't know who is going in the schools, but so far, so many people are going in the schools. We may not know what they're delivering, but out of the package that we have here at Family Life Network under the program of BANG, it is very, very key. We noted that there is still a big demand to reach out in these schools, also with the values, morals, and characters. And some of the topics we also have the sexuality, and then also this response survey questions. We would like to continue with it so we can surely come up with a concrete survey on the challenges that are affecting teenagers in fulfilling their purposes. Then also self-discovery is yet another one that we are using an approach to reach the teenagers. Yeah, but all in all, the LIRA mission was such a great mission. An upcoming mission is the Luwero mission. Very soon, we'll be evading Luwero as the Bang team. We'll be going to Luwero and the schools all around Luwero. But LIRA, all in all, was such a very beautiful mission that was welcome. And finally, we had about what we recorded was 1,031 students who signed up to abstain from sexual immorality. And all these, we count them as potential families to come. And we count that as a very great success. We thank God who gave us Johnny Mercy and everyone who participated, especially parents who stayed in prayer with us while we were on this mission, and those who gave a hand of support towards this mission. Thank you so much, and back to you, Tama.
Tama, there you go.
Thank you, our host, Alex, for enabling me to unmute again. Thank you, Brian, for the great mission. Thank you again and again to you, Mr. Langa, and Aunt Beatrice for the great mission of reaching out to the young people, the Gen Z. This point of time, would like to welcome anybody who has been through these seminars. I know some of the people have been consistently attending these virtual seminars, and we have just few minutes, 2 minutes, for you to share your experience here. If you are there, please put up your hand and come and share with us your experience on this seminar. We have just 2 minutes, and then we shall continue to our first speaker. Anybody out there? Anita, do we have anybody putting up their hand who would like to share their experience here?
None that I see. Probably you're still thinking about the testimony, but this is to you, the ladies and gentlemen who have been attending these sessions. We just want to hear from you, especially for the benefit of our first-time attendees. So we'd just like to hear your experience and what these seminars have meant to you, and probably if there's transformation happening, would like you to take this up and just share your testimony. Anyone who has joined these seminars, who has been around with it for some time, will just come in and share. All right, Tama, if there's no one, I think we can go ahead and bring in our facilitators for the day, our presenters for the day.
Maybe just before, Anita, can I be allowed to make just to show a picture on the bank on the bank outreach?
Okay.
Yes, just.
And as you bring the picture to us, I would like to encourage you, our friends and ladies and gentlemen on the call, if you'd like to be added to any WhatsApp group that we have for announcements, drop your WhatsApp number in the WhatsApp, in our chat room. We'll capture it and we'll add you to the group, because I've seen many people asking how you can join CPC. We have groups that bring these announcements to us. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. Langa, with our picture on Bang.
Yes, Alex, please open so that I can share. Give me rights to be able to share the presentation.
You can now do it.
Okay. All right. Yes, there you can see just a minute. Let's see. Hey, you have disabled again. Please enable it. Yeah, okay. Yes, members, yeah, there you are. Hey, sorry, Alex, it comes and goes off again.
Try again, sir.
Okay. All right. Yes, there you are. You can see some of the students in some of the schools over there. Yes, you can see another school there. This was the St. Gracious, very, very big school. So they have a big quadrangle that put tents around the whole school and the whole quadrangle, and were able to accommodate the 1,800 students. So I think, yeah, those are the ones I could get at the moment. But just to really thank you all for your support, your moral support, and any other support, because we are really together in this matter. We have to help the next generation. You know, we keep saying, you see, as parents, and I think I mentioned it the last time, that we are parenting. We are parents now who are parenting a new generation that is going to take Uganda and Africa to the next level. So that means that we have to be very, very intentional and very, very deliberate in our parenting. We can't continue business as usual. So, and that's why we thank you who have invested your time in learning through this seminar and other ways that you are learning. So thank you very much. Over to you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Langa. Those are very wonderful pictures. We thank God for the opportunity of touching young people. And that is what God is calling us to do this season. Thank you again and again. I want to thank you, members, those who are dropping in the numbers in the chat room. Thank you for your response. And also, as we continue, please drop your questions in the chat room so that we do not lose out on any minute. Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you back, our elder, Mr. Stephen Langa, to welcome and invite our first presenter.
Thank
Over
you.
to you.
Yes, thank you, Tama. I'm going to hand over that honor to Anita. Anita, please take the honor to invite our first speaker.
All right, thank you so much, Elder Langa, and thank you so much, Tama, my sister, for leading us through up to this very moment. Thank you, Brian. You're doing well with the bank mission in schools, and I can assure the ladies and gentlemen on call that even the bank missions in universities is actively going on. I have the awesome privilege of coordinating all the bank clubs in the universities, and they are steadily growing, and there is a lot of transformation happening. So I want to continue thanking Elder Langa and Mama Beatrice, the entire leadership of FLN, for creating opportunities for transformation for the young people and for parents and the families at large. Right about now, we want to invite our guest speakers. Two of them, very seasoned psychologists, counselors, the best in the field that we have so far. And the topic they're handling this afternoon is something that is a topic that is very crucial to many of us, if not all of us, the issue of mental health. It was on the 13th of May 2022, when the headlines hit the papers and said that 14 million Ugandans are mentally sick. Now, for me at that point, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It went ahead and indicated that if each of these 14 million interact with at least 2 other individuals, then almost the entire population, by then 42 million Ugandans, are affected by mental health directly or indirectly. So at some point I paused and thought, oh, so it's possible that I could be mentally, be having a mental disorder without me knowing, or maybe not. But the thing is, just because we are not throwing stones on the streets doesn't mean that we are all mentally okay. But the truth is that 35 out of 100 Ugandans you meet, they're having or they're dealing with a mental challenge. And so the highlight there was that Uganda is ranked among the top 6 countries in Africa with mental disorder cases. And we're seeing this being rampant in families, and it's affecting not only the parents in their marriage, but it's also affecting the children. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today we bring to you two people who are seasoned and professionals in their field. And we'll start with Mr. Henry Nsubuga. Mr. Henry Nsubuga will be taking us through the causes and signs of mental health. But let's get to know him a little bit before he comes in to give us his presentation. Mr. Henry Nsubuga, we like to call him Dr. Henry Nsubuga, is the Manager, Counseling and Guidance Center at Makerere University. He is a global career development facilitator. He is a counseling psychologist and has practiced psychotherapy for over 15 years in various settings where he has managed, practiced psychotherapy and has trained in counseling. He's the past president of the Uganda Counseling Association. He has a special interest in career counseling, life balance, emotional intelligence, positive psychology, and stress management. He has vast experience and training in mental health, especially in the field of career counseling, public health, and primary health care. He is a member of several international mental health associations like the American Group Psychotherapy Association, the National Career Development Association, the Association of University and College Counseling Center Directors, and many others. Mr. Henry Nsubuga is occasionally hosted on different radio and TV talk shows to discuss psychological issues and often contributes ideas on several psychosocial issues in international journals and the Uganda media. We are privileged to have you here this evening, Mr. Henry Nsubuga, and I now invite you to lead us in your session this evening. You are most welcome.
Thank you very much, Anita, for the wonderful introduction. You've been very kind to me. And I'm very excited to have these many people that we are going to discuss with about mental health issues. I always want to show my face when I'm talking to people. It happens that I was traveling to the place and it started raining, so I had to stop and get myself in the car. But it's okay to first see me as I get to speak, because I think it's important that you see the person speaking to you. Yeah, the idea of mental health is a big deal actually in our day. And before I talk about mental health, I want to again thank you, Family Life Network, for the wonderful work. I remember when Mr. Langa was starting, I was UCA, Uganda Counseling Association, was already was in place, and I remember working a lot with him on several fora, and I just love the consistency and the interest in supporting people, especially the families. Thank you very much, and Madam, and the entire team of Family Life Network. You've done us well. Thank you very much, and I promise to keep working with you moving forward. Yes, now mental health. When we talk about mental health, one would say that it has been so much looked at in unfortunately, it has also, when it gained prominence, we've so much looked at it as separate from other things. But we can't talk only about mental health without talking about physical health, without talking about spiritual health, because when physical health is not taken care of, suddenly mental health is going to be affected. When our spiritual health is in trouble, we are still again going to have trouble with mental health. So I prefer actually always to talk about mental health in relation to other things. And one would say that for quite a number of years, we emphasized one over the other, and that still brings challenges, because people at one point take one and leave the other. So somebody prays and prays and prays and prays and does little about the mental health. I don't know whether you've been in settings whereby, say, even now we are talking about families, but yes, we are praying as a family, praying so much, praying so hard. But at one point, then we are forgetting, say, to take care of our mental health. And when I'm going to define more what mental health is, and we are forgetting our physical health. And at one point, we realize that none of them works very well, because one of them is limping. So I want to urge us that we need to give a kind of an equal balance to each and every aspect of these of the core aspects, specifically the spiritual aspect, the physical aspect, but also now the mental health that we are going to be discussing today. And I don't know whether I have the rights to share, and my slide is just one today, and that's what's going to spur our discussion. Yes, I think I can share. Yes, here we are. Yes, what is mental health? Mental health is a state of well-being that, and I want to mark that we don't so much even think about the negativity of mental health. We are thinking about we want to focus on the positive. It's a state of our mental well-being. Sometimes we find ourselves not in our best state. Sometimes we find ourselves in our best state. Even our children, we should know that much as we may think sometimes they don't have our challenges like the ones we have. Sometimes actually they have more challenges than we have. And as a matter of fact, we tend to forget them and we concentrate on what is probably disturbing us. Yet it's very important that actually we focus, we have a keen eye on them. And that's what actually has brought problems. When we talk about things like substance abuse and all these other challenges, including risky sexual behavior and whatever, all these are a manifestation of something that is not working out sometimes back in their mental health. And it's one thing to talk about don't have sex. Yes, don't have sex. What about what is going on in their psyche? What is going on in their spiritual? And that's why I'm talking about taking all the three as one. What do they do? Exercises? Do they have how is their life general? How is their family life? Is the family on fire? Because many times, as I will be saying, when I'm talking about the signs and of men of especially both good and ill mental health, you realize that many times when you see, for instance, children avoiding people or avoiding circumstances, especially when they are anxious, they're going to be avoidant. They're going to be running away. But many times it's because something is not right. It could be at home. It could be at school. Something is not right. So we need to focus on our mental well-being, and mental well-being sometimes is neglected. We mind about brushing our teeth. We mind about eating healthy. On a Sunday like this, many people have eaten very well, but probably everyone is probably some people are not psychologically healthy in that family. People are not talking. Yes, we've eaten the food, but we are not happy in some way, and it's affecting our psychological health, our mental health. And yes, I have had a good meal. Somebody even might run away from home, whether there is food or not. But the reason they're running away is because at home things are not, I mean, yes, the physical food, everything is good. The good house is there, but this guy is running away from home. So what's going on? What's happening? It's because of probably you will find that it's mainly the mental health issues that are making the people run away. When we are talking about street kids, why are they running away? They are running away from something, which we need to interrogate and support them so that probably they can be put back to their families. So I want us to always, just like we check our blood pressure when you have some bit of it, just like when like we've been talking, we do the makeup, we put on, we make sure our hair is in good shape, everything is put in order, we buy the best shoes and whatever, we go and pray every Sunday or even every other day. That's the same amount of effort we should put on mental health. Actually, mental health takes precedence many times over many of these, because if you're in good state, you're going to greet well your wife and the kids. If you're worried so much about, say, their fees or about their behavior, sometimes you might find yourself not even able to look them in the eyes, and that's probably going to cause more troubles. And in a way, when you do that, it's unlikely to also affect the prayer life. It's going probably to affect the physical life. People are going to get all sorts of ailments, hypertension, diabetes, and all these other diseases are mainly coming as a result of people are not going to go for exercises because they are struggling. Their body is, I mean, they're not looking up for something exciting. So somehow it's also going to be affected. Sometimes they're not going to put on well. So it's very important that I just wanted to problematize it if some people had not yet appreciated it in that same way, that we need to every other time check, how am I feeling? And at some point I had coined something I call the ABCD. How do I feel? When I say how do I feel, I think we can all tell how we are feeling. I feel in a particular way. The A is affect. How do I feel? How do I feel? Every other time, do a quick scan of yourself. How am I feeling? Am I angry? If you are in a particular state, this kid has just done something and you think you want almost to beat them up. I'm going to ask us, it might be one of the things to check yourself. Probably you are feeling I'm talking about the signs now in this, and I'm going to bring the signs and whatever in my presentation through examples, and because we are time constrained, I'm going to be short. But I'm trying to look at, how do you say, if you are angry and you want to box your wife, or you want to shout at her or this child, and you're not going to get any results, because we don't learn by shouting at people. We learn better when people can hear us. It's not about us talking and making a point, but it's also about them trying to listen. They're actually listening to them first than us even talking. So in that case, it might be that actually the person has done the wrong. You are shouting to your kids who are always on their phones. You children, what's wrong with you? Every time you make me mad, I'm going to throw them. Probably you're going to throw it down, ABCD. What's the best way to do it? Probably you calm down and say, okay, I notice you're having all these phones and they're doing ABCD, and you are no longer social. And as you know, that phones have been found to bring a lot of associated are related to anxiety, for instance, and stress. Many people who are always on phones, and many adults, actually, it has been found that adults, 30% of the adults like us are equally addicted to these gadgets the way our children are. So you find actually that we are the ones modeling the behavior, but then you are more concerned about these kids. And one of the things you need probably in this case to do as a symptom could be that you are agitated, that you want really to be, I mean, it's eating you up. That could be a sign that also your mental health is not right. So first put yourself right. Because children, emotions are contagious, and children learn better from us when we are able to tone down our voices. They can't learn very well when we come and we are, of course, at that time we shall be coming from a fear kind perspective, a fear background. My children are going to get spoiled because of these gadgets. Yes, the gadgets could spoil them, that's right. But what about having another view of that and say, no, I understand this is problematic, but I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to have a discussion. That you first come yourself, you first take care of your well-being. Because when you are well, then you are going to transfer that well-being to the other people, and they're going to listen to you better, other than you coming out and shouting at them and probably banging doors and banging everything. It probably may not work. So I want to say that our mental well-being, it should start first of all with us. As parents, you realize that we are coming from a fear factor. We have that natural inclination to want to protect, for instance, our children. Every other time we want the best for them. It's natural, it's normal. But unfortunately, we end up also, not many times, we mess up because we love them so much. So we end up also doing it in a way that actually doesn't help them, but also that doesn't help us. I want us to relax, for instance, when we are taking care of these kids. Are we relaxed? If you're talking to this, they may have done the abominable, something that you wouldn't want any person to know that your kid is doing. And for you, you are more concerned about what, and I'm still talking about the signs. How concerned are you about what others are going to say about the style you are parenting? You might be more concerned about that and not so much about your kid. And that is likely to lead to trouble, because you're not going to support this kid, because your focus is on the people outside there, not this kid that you're going to be speaking to. So getting back to ourselves, checking ourselves, and that's the affect. Checking our behavior, that's the B I'm talking about. What kind of behavior are we finding ourselves into? Because our behavior might also be contravening, showing that we are not doing well mentally. As parents, our behavior, we are over drinking, we are overeating, we are over quarreling at home, we are over shouting, we are overly worked up, we don't sleep well. All these are behaviors, and they are a manifestation of something to do with our mental state. Because when you don't sleep well, probably you are scared, you are worried, something is not working out well. If you are always agitated, if you are the kind of person who always shouts at people, so what's that behavior? If you are avoiding to talk to this kid, if you are avoiding to talk to your wife about this kid, if you are just shouting at them, all these are things we need to check out for. And I'm taking it again back to us. Our behavior, as I said, we model the behavior of these children. So are we doing the right thing? Are we coming from the fear factor? I want us to take a natural approach. These children, we have a natural right to take care of them. And they actually know that we are supposed to protect them. And because they know we are supposed to protect them, they're always willing to hear and listen to us. Unfortunately, we go with fear. So I want each one of us every other time, even if it is so difficult. I remember one time having a parent whose son was found. This person came, was on the whatever they see, the CCT scan and the CCTV, and the son was having they were sodomizing the son, and this parent was up and said, "You are no longer my kid ABCD." So it is so bad as you can hear that, and you are no longer my son, and you are no longer this can't happen ABCD. It can happen actually, and as I said, parenting can be humbling. Even me who is talking to you, at some point your kid does something and you are like, "Oh my God, who are you?" I mean, the first thing certainly that would come to mind is the son of a therapist or the daughter of a therapist is not doing bad things. So think about that. But I think even when that comes, we need to learn how to calm ourselves, because the first thing is that we are well. This kid is out there. They're our kids. We want the best for them. And by the way, what I must tell you before I forget, parents, is each of these kids, just like we were when we were young children, are also looking up to become great. They want to do great things. None of the kid is born thinking that for them they are going to be dwarfs, that things are going to be bad. So they have great aspirations. And we must base on that to say, okay, how do we move from one place to the next? So I am talking now about the B, the behavior. We need to check our behavior. But also the C is the cognitive. So what are we thinking about? What is going on in our mind? Are we thinking that the worst is going to happen? Are we thinking that I'm not going to manage to do this job? Are we thinking, so that cognitive, the mind is a big deal, and it can manufacture, and as you know, some of you, that our mind is having what we call the negativity bias. Every other time, because we are out there our mind tells us something, trouble is always thinking about trouble coming. Trouble is going to come. But if you can rewind your clock, when you remember your parents, many times they used to think about you, but they would let you fly. And even when you go to get trouble, they would hold you then and then say, "We'll do this." But we tend to be the kind of people, "Oh, don't get into trouble." Probably our mind is telling us, our children should never get out there in the dirt. We should put cushions around them. We should protect them. But many of us, we are what we are because our children gave us, our parents gave us some bit of freedom. And then if we could get some bit of trouble, then they would invite us back. Even mentally, our children can get some bit of trouble, but probably that's going to be the learning moment that we are going to tell them, "Okay, I see you are coming back from school. You're not happy. What happened?" And this kid might not have done well. And then your role is to welcome them back and say, "Okay, from what and then you can go back and sleep and say, "But it's these teachers, I think these people are bad, ABCD." So you are so worried about this person. So check what you are thinking. What are you thinking? Are you thinking right? Are you thinking about the worst that is going to happen? Or you are thinking, yes, the worst can still happen, but also the good can happen. So check what you are thinking. The cognitive bit of us causes us always trouble. And as I said many times, actually, we have also challenged ourselves, and we have had challenges in our parenting because of our thoughts. And many times our thoughts think the negative. We are thinking the worst is going to happen to our kids. And yet, actually, usually they are bad and good, but many times the good happens also. We don't want our children to go to the market like we used to go when our parents would send us to buy sugar, because we think our children, when they get there, they might get the wrong groups. Yes, they might get them, but also overprotecting them might not make them the best people, because they need to learn to interact with other people. They need to learn to interface with the world, because we want to build resilience finally, because the resilience is also going to help them to become mentally strong. Sometimes they get a challenge as they go to buy stuff, and that's going to make them harder and hardened for a tougher days. We normally become stronger when we have sometimes gone through trouble. Trouble is not entirely bad because it also gives us some lessons. Now, the D is the development bit. I want us as parents to check ourselves also. The D, how do we, our children, as I said earlier, they model their behavior based on us. If they find us in a particularly challenging state, our children can always tell, say you don't have money at home and you are all worked up. When they see you worked up, they will be worked up more because you are there coming you. You, the dad, you are the man who is supposed, whom they think is going to manage it. So the more you are stressed and you are showing it to everyone, actually you are going to be expending those fears and threats to them much more than you even ever think. So it's very important that we check our state of being, our whether we have any areas we need also to develop more. Is it the way I manage my anger? Because the way children, whenever I come, I am having challenges to manage my anger. And when I have challenges managing my anger, I find myself, I find it difficult to relate with them and my wife. So everyone runs away. Everyone doesn't want to talk to me. And it eats me more because now I haven't also done the other. But probably I have struggles that have, you know, it could be actually coming from that point. And so it's very important that we check how are we in that in terms of growth. As I always tell people that for me, I go for counseling even because we as human beings, we are growth oriented. Every one of us is having an area of development. We want to improve in one way or the other. So it's a point that we need, it's important that we always check what areas we need to develop so that we can be even better people to ourselves, but also to the people, to the children and the family that we are part of. As a mother, you find yourself always tough. You know, this dad doesn't. The other day I was having one of the parents said, "This man doesn't assert himself. He's just so good." So now she was also getting so angry and almost rough to this man, and probably it would boil into many things. The way the many words she was saying would probably end up causing more havoc at home, and then the whole infrastructure at home would be soiled. Actually, you find that many times our children, the reason they are addicted to many of these gadgets, like the phones, is coming as a result of they're running away from something. Peaceful homes and happy homes are going to have meals together. They go to prepare food together and things are working out. Why would children run away? They would come probably, even when you would you are bringing kind of a structure at home to say, okay, let's do ABCD. They're most likely to take it up. Why? Because there is some bit of peace. They can afford to avoid the phone and the gadget and talk to mom, because mom talks, there is peace. They find fun talking to mom, you know, they find fun talking to dad. The whole family is whatever. But if there is no peace, trouble also comes. Now, the E is the environment. What environment are we finding ourselves? And now when I talk about the environment, as we say, it takes a village to raise a kid. And I'm talking about the environments now we are finding ourselves. Now we have even the online environment, which is terrible. You might find your daughter posting something. She posts a picture on Instagram, and then what is going to happen? This girl is going, you see her frowning, she goes to bed to sleep, and probably the picture hasn't had any likes. And probably that's where the problem is coming from. So it's very important that we check the environment. So what kind of, it's not that we are deeply going to get involved in the social media pages of our children and stuff, but that's their world. They are, you know, they are born during this era, and it's not going to go away. But it doesn't also mean that we are going to be aloof and we let them be abused online when we can protect them. So in some way we need to come, every parent might find a way they are going to be coming in. But I want to say that the environment can be toxic or resourceful. So it's very important to support ourselves as we the parents, but also as our family entirely. If a WhatsApp group doesn't help you and it's causing you trouble, why don't you leave it? Because it's toxic. It's not helpful to you. It's causing more mental health problems to you. It's causing, every other time you go, anxiety goes high. Every other time you get onto it, you get so worried, you get so whatever. So all those could be indicators of mental health, or whether good or bad. Another one would be resourceful. Say you are part of Family Life Network. Every other time you are on it, you are more excited and you want to be part and part and part and part. So is the environment resourceful? Is it increasing your mental well-being? So I want to say that we, first of all, we should approach the idea, the parenting, not with under stress. God has given us these children. God has given us family. Even if you're a caretaker, God has given you this person. Just be free. First of all, relax yourself. And what do we change when we get worried? We probably change less. But people, I think, are missing people who can listen to them. Our young people, our spouses are missing us in some way. The quality of the time, versus, it's more about the quality versus of course the amount is also important, but the quality probably is not good anymore, and it's affecting the mental well-being of our people, of our families. I remember we used to have more structure when we were growing up in our families. I grew up in a village, and right now I'm in a village, and we would sit down and eat food together. None of us missed. It's very easy now for our children to miss a meal, somebody to be seated, or even to come with a gadget, and sometimes you just remember that, oh, so and so has a gadget, and we haven't been able to institute a structure in our homes. That is dangerous. It's going to cause mental health, more mental health challenges. You very well know that gadgets increase, as I said, increase anxiety and whatever, and that more screen time is bringing us sleep problems. When you don't sleep well, also your mental health again is affected. So it is something that we need to work on. Say, for instance, why don't we say at one point, tell this kid, yes, I realize I could, you can even say, starting by yourself, I could also be struggling with phone addiction, but we want to have a time, a free zone for online whatever. So we say, when it comes to say 8 p.m. at home, we're all going to switch off our phones until early morning. And what we are going to do is, you can even first ask the kids to tell you what would be the best time to switch off the phones, and then you tell them, now it's 8, every one of you give me your phones, and they give you the phones, and then you take them in a park early in the morning. Say, after you have done some bit of work, I'm giving you back the phones. So it's like you're putting some bit of structure. But I think for some reason we have messed ourselves up, probably because also the business that has come. I want to say that we have quite a number of challenges in our time, of course, more challenges, but it doesn't mean that we don't have a way out. We still have a way out. Unfortunately, these challenges that have come as a result of what is going on are affecting more the families than anything, because if you're talking about the phones affecting more the families, if it's about work and people are going to work and they bring work at home and they don't rest at all, and everyone is having a laptop and everyone is running up and down, I mean, we are in trouble. It's not bad to work. All of us find ourselves in that kind of state many times, but I think we need to start. We just need to be intentional for the mental well-being of our families, that we have time together, especially that we talk well to each other, that we talk not out of fear, but we talk out of love, that we have more closer connection, which seems to be in a big way dying out for many people. And if it's not addressed, and we must actually, I'm happy that we are going to schools. One time I was talking to one of the head teachers and I told her, look, if you went to any school, some schools wake up as early as 3 p.m. a.m. in the morning. And I said, these children don't get enough sleep and they are extremely stressed out. And then I gave her an assignment, just go in the morning and check how many of these boys and girls are sleeping during prep time. She went and she saw almost the whole class was sleeping. I said, but why don't we change something? And then they wake up a little bit late so that they're able to be fresh in the morning, to enjoy themselves, to have better mental health. But we don't seem to be working on even what we seem to know, even what science has brought to our knowledge. We seem to be just looking at it and say, okay, let them be with their science. For us, let's do what we think we are doing. So I'm saying, finally, that that ABCD strategy, I was trying to look for another way, a quicker way of trying to see how do we check for the signs and whatever. Let's check how we are feeling. And you can check the feeling. So if you are ashamed, so if you're avoiding to go to some place or to go home or to go to some place, it could be say home, or you're trying to avoid home. Check yourself. What is making you always not wanting to go home early? Could it be something that, could you be feeling something that your heart, even your heart, when you touch your heart, you start hearing the heartbeat pumping faster, probably anxiety? Could it be something? Probably something is running in your mind that they are going to shout at you or something, or that there is no food or something. Could it be, and you're checking yourself. So it's very important. What about the environment you are living in? So it's very important that when we do that, then we are going to be able to probably improve, to start with, our mental well-being, and finally improve the mental well-being of our families. We look at these people with love. These children want to improve. I want to tell you that none of these children, even those who misbehave, want to misbehave. They want to be the best people. But sometimes the way we come in might be the problem. And we must start forging a relationship.
Our time is fast spent. We would like you to bring it to a kind conclusion. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm so grateful about this whatever. And now that we are forming this community, and just like we are seeing from this definition, it's very important that we mind about our communities, that we harness the communities, just like we try to do the physical hygiene of the places where we stay. I'm very happy that we are looking at even creating a psychological community that is going to help us. Finally, I want to urge each one of us that we create a psychological community. Have some person you can always call and say, I don't feel ABCD, somebody whom you can trust. It could be a therapist, it could be any other person, so that you are well, so that you can give better to your family because you are well. Thank you very much once again for the invitation and for the opportunity to speak. I'm so grateful. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the session, very insightful. And I like the fact that you started with the 3 parts of man, that we don't have to deal with or only concentrate on the psychological, but balance it out with the body and spirit. I think that is very, very profound, because it's actually possible to just, mind your mental health, yet the spirit is not okay, yet the body is not okay. And you've given us a workable formula. The ABCD E is something that I think is a good takeaway for many of us. And I would just like to encourage the ladies and gentlemen on call, the parents and those that are yet to be parents, to just jot down your questions. And during Q&A, we're going to address them. Mr. Nsubuga will come back and address those questions. Then Mr. Nsubuga will also be added to the Family Life Network platform, where there are many parents, so that in case there are any questions, they could come directly to him and he could probably respond to them. So Mr. Nsubuga, please don't run away. Please stay with us, as we'll be having some questions coming through. Right about now, I would like to invite Dr. Joy Lewis Bumikiriza, Honoria. But before she comes in, I would like to introduce her. She is a clinical psychologist and lecturer in the Department of Psychiatry at Makerere University. In her 10 years of tenure, she's developed extensive research expertise in performing and supervising clinical evaluation of children, adults, and older persons with cognitive and behavioral problems associated with medical and psychiatric disorders. She has keen interest in cross-cultural adaptations of neuropsychology tools, psychotherapeutic interventions, and ADRD patient care. She's also involved in tutoring both postgraduate and undergraduate medical students, research supervision, student and faculty mentoring, as well as clinical duties. Dr. Joy, we are so glad to have you on this platform this evening, and would like to invite you to take us through in the next some minutes to just take us through how best as parents, as family, in our different spaces, how best we can respond when faced with mental health challenges. Dr. Joy, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. I don't know whether my video is clear. Okay. I want to thank so much Family Life Network for the opportunity to share and to speak. At some point, I'm going to put off my video because it seems to be a bit choppy. I'm honored to be a part of this. I was mentored by Family Life Network in my early years, and I'm very happy to be a part of this very important group. And the training that we receive as parents are very, very profound to all of us. I hope we will all enjoy. And yeah, Dr. Nsubuga has said so much of what I was going to say. So it's going to make my presentation quite brief. And we'll see how we can speed it up. So let me just share let me get off my video and share my screen. Okay. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see it very well.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So today we are looking at mental health, and Dr. Nsubuga has very ably presented what mental health is. So right now I want to take us into how do we support these individuals that have mental illness, but then also we want to look at what is the role of the family and how do we support the family's mental well-being. Just to summarize what has already been said, mental illnesses are health conditions, and they involve changes in our emotions, in our thinking, or in our behavior. And many a times we find that they're actually a combination of the emotions, the thought processes, and the behavior. When it comes to the family, some of the mental health issues or symptoms that we see are actually a symptom of a disordered family. These issues, these mental health challenges are usually associated with distress and or problems in functioning at social work, in their social lives, school, work-related functioning, and family activities. And there's some common mental disorders like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, eating disorders, addictive behaviors, and many as we're going to see as we move forward. So mental health or mental ill health has a significant impact on families. One, it emotionally strains the family. The families often experience lots of stress. They worry, people are sad, people start isolating, most especially when a loved one is suffering from a mental illness. Many of us even fear to come out openly and say, I have a child, I have a colleague, I have a family friend, I have a relative who has a mental disorder. They also significantly affect the finances of a family because the costs of treatment and potential loss of income that comes with caring for an individual with mental ill health is quite significant. People who have children that are suffering with one form of mental illness or neurological disorders or another, they will testify that the cost is quite significant. And this causes a strain on the family. And it also affects the dynamics within the family. That takes me to the next issue of relationship dynamics. When we have individuals who have mental illness or are suffering from some mental disorders within the family, they significantly affect the relationship dynamics. Communication issues and roles can change, and these affect the family. The harmony of the family is affected. The stability within the family is also affected. You're going to find that some people might feel that others are receiving more attention compared to the others, and this is going to put a certain strain on the family dynamics. There's also social isolation, which I had alluded to earlier. Families might withdraw from social activities. Find someone you used to fellowship with church, someone who used to comfortably come and attend certain functions. They can no longer come because they have so much stigma. Sometimes it's perceived stigma, or it is actually stigma that has been inflicted on them, or the demands of caregiving have become quite significant. There are also some positive impacts that at times when you have an individual who has a mental health challenge, then we can become closer as a family. We become more supportive, and we tend to find strength and resilience in the challenging times. So it's not all bad. Then how do we recognize mental illness? I'm summarizing a little bit of summary and preamble into what we're going to be discussing. For example, anxiety, you're going to see excessive worry, you're going to see fear, you're going to see avoidance of certain situations, like Dr. Ansoboga already mentioned. Depression, you're going to see persistent sadness most time or all the time. You're going to see loss of interests in activities that were formerly pleasurable, and you're going to see changes in the sleep patterns as well as appetite. Either there is significant appetite loss or significant appetite gain, or you're going to find trouble with people who are struggling to fall asleep or to stay asleep, or even people who are struggling to wake up and they just want to continuously sleep. There's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Many children suffer from this, and incidentally, when they go to the different schools, many a times they are branded as stubborn people, disruptive in class, but these children might actually just be suffering from a mental ill health disorder that is called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. And these ones, you see, there's difficulty in paying attention, there's significant hyperactivity, they just do not settle, and they have impulsive behavior. These individuals also have a tendency of starting activities and not completing them. Then there are behavioral disorders, persistent patterns of disruptive behaviors, people who have anger issues, you'll see a lot of significant anger issues, breaking things, banging doors, verbally aggressive or even physically aggressive. And the eating disorders, when I was in school, there were not many, but lately I received many children in the clinic who are struggling with eating disorders. And back to picking from Dr. Nsubuga's presentation, the body image. People have had this, media has presented a picture of what a beautiful woman or a handsome man should look like. And because of these family ingrained beliefs about our body images, people have low self-esteem. So they tend to worry about their weight, their body shape, and this leads to unhealthy eating behaviors. So you find someone who will come and eat very, very fast and then run to the bathroom and force that food out, which we call purging. They binge and then purge. Or you'll see people who are anorexic, they just don't want to eat. They starve themselves just to look a certain kind of way. We also have substance use disorders and the persistent need that you see a persistent need to use drugs or alcohol despite harmful consequences. Sometimes they may not show, but you start seeing certain telltale signs. Withdraw tendencies, they lock themselves in their bedrooms, you find them with some powders around their noses, they don't maintain eye contact, certain items seem to be disappearing most of the time from home just because they're looking for ways in which to get the drugs. So let us be keen in how we can recognize some of these things. Do not forget the effect of the phone and media as well. That constant need to be attached to your phone, is also predisposing people to mental illness. So when you start noticing certain unhealthy patterns, trust your gut, seek help. We also notice behavior changes like withdrawal from friends and families. The school performance, of course, significantly goes down, changes in eating or sleeping patterns. We see emotional changes, the unexplained irritability, significant sadness or anxiety. We see physical symptoms like frequent headaches or stomach aches, tiredness. We have what we call conversion disorders, that you do all sorts of tests, but you don't find any physical illness. However, the person is constantly complaining of either headache or they're having seizures, what we call pseudo seizures. They're not exactly seizures because they do not fit the criteria of a seizure, but then they have them, they faint, they have certain tremors, but these are psychological symptoms. So seek help. Like we'll see where you can go to seek help. Also physical tiredness, constant tiredness. I'm constantly tired. The person is constantly tired. Then those are also red flags. You also see some cognitive changes, difficulty in concentrating, memory problems. You send someone, you talk about something, they move hardly 1 or 2 minutes later, they cannot remember what they have been sent for. Those are cognitive changes. So you want to start thinking about where to go. So where do we go? How do we seek help? It's important to seek help. Even the Bible tells us, wise is the one who seeks wisdom from the wise. We seek professional help. When you seek professional help when you start noticing that there are persistent feelings of sadness. Because, certain levels of sadness are normal, most especially if for the ladies, we know there are moments where you have those mood swings. So those are kind of normal, but if it's persistent, seek help. Significant anxiety, seek help. If it's affecting the person's output, everything I'm talking about here should be able to affect your output at work, your output in family, your output at school, and in your social environments. If you find someone who is feeling significantly hopeless, difficulty in functioning in their daily life, someone who used to wake up and groom themselves, go shower, brush their teeth, dress up, start the day, right now finds it extremely difficult to even get out of bed. Even when they're able to get out of bed, grooming is becoming significantly challenging. That is when you need to seek help. Experiencing significant changes in your behavior or mood. And then when self-help, you've tried to talk to someone, you've tried to see that you support as a family, you've involved friends, and you're seeing that this is not enough. Please seek help. And when you also start seeing signs of substance abuse or addictions. But then it's also important to notice any thoughts of self-harm or harming others, suicidal tendencies. Don't beat about the bush. Ask directly your child, your relative, if they feel that they want to die and how they want to do this. Because then this tells you that this is now a severe mental health issue and it needs very early intervention. So the types of mental health professionals are quite a number. We have the psychiatrists who are medical doctors and they prescribe medication and provide therapy. We have different types of psychologists, clinical, neuro, counseling, and they're professionals with advanced degrees and they provide therapy and psychological testing. We also have the licensed professional counselors who offer individual and group counseling. We have social workers, they provide counseling and connect individuals with other resources, but we also have marriage and family therapists, and they focus on family dynamics and relationships. But also what Family Life Network is doing is part of therapy, and they're meeting the need to many people who are not able to reach out to many of these professionals. So then how do we respond if we notice some of these things? We have to respond with compassion. Compassion means you be kind. Be kind to self and to the person. You have to be caring. You need to show gratitude. You have to be very positive. So we do this through listening without judgment. We create a safe space for open communication. We show empathy and understanding. It's important that we validate the feelings. If a child has come to you and they feel extremely lost, they're harming their bodies. We have people who cut themselves because they're so overwhelmed, and the only way they can find release is by harming themselves. Acknowledge their emotions. Don't dismiss them. Avoid that dismissing and minimizing tendencies that many of us parents actually unintentionally do. We know how to say, you'll snap out of it. You will be fine. Get over it. Come over here. Sort yourself. Let us avoid such kind of dismissive talk and minimizing talks. So we need to offer support and resources. They've come to you. You're lucky that you've been approached. So provide information about available mental health resources if you know. If you don't know, seek support and see who can help you. Encourage professional help when needed. Be consistent in your giving of the support and encouragement. Don't put the children off or the people who come to you telling you about their mental issues. Let them not put them off. Let us be very consistent. Let us not be judgmental. So after we've responded with compassion, then we build resilience. We teach the children coping skills. We teach them these through prayer and meditation. It's important that we incorporate spiritual practices within our home environment to find peace and strength. Usually when you believe in something, by the way, even those who believe in Buddha, even those who believe in trees, for as long as they believe in something, somehow they find peace and strength in that something that they have. So for those of us who believe in Christ, who are able to pray and meditate on the word, so let us incorporate this into our homes so that we find peace and strength when we're talking about mental health issues. Let us also practice mindfulness. Learn how to stay in the present because this helps reduce stress. Learn to be more problem-solving. Encourage effective problem-solving skills. Like, let us deal with the challenges. What is the challenge? What do we learn from it? How can we move over this? Then the emotional regulation. Let us teach people techniques of how to manage and express emotions healthily. Some people just don't know. Other people just bottle it up. The more they bottle it up, it kills them, it eats away on their mental well-being, and finally it will just blow up. Others are very expressive. They'll become verbally aggressive or even physically aggressive. So it's important that we learn ourselves to guide each other, even ourselves, to manage and express our emotions in a healthy manner. So we build this resilience through encouraging self-care. Dr. Nsubuga talked about physical activity. It's important that we promote regular exercises to boost our mood and health. It's important that we eat healthy because when we encourage a balanced diet, it also improves and impacts on our overall well-being. It's important that we find time to rest and relax. I know some of us, we have very busy schedules, so finding time for this can be very, very elusive. However, whatever we do, we need that one day where you find time to rest and relax. You ensure that you have received adequate rest and you've engaged in relaxing activities. Build hobbies and interests. Back in the day when we were younger, we used to be asked, so what are your hobbies? What are you interested in? Those who remember the days of the pen pals, you had to write your hobby list. It is time for us to pick up those hobbies. It's time for us to engage our children and find out what are their hobbies, what are their interests. Let us support engagement in these hobbies and interests to provide joy and distraction from the daily stressors. Whenever we manage stress, then we are building resilience. Building resilience also involves us fostering a supportive environment. How do we do this? Have open communication. Let our households be a safe space for sharing thoughts and feelings. But also you, an individual, cultivate in yourself the need, or cultivate in yourself the ability to be that safe space, that when someone reaches out to you, they find you a safe space where they can share their thoughts and feelings without worrying that chegambire nyowe, and then the next day is going to be everywhere else. It's important that we also have positive relationships. Build strong positive relationships within the family, within the communities. These days we have gated communities. It doesn't hurt to just say hello to your neighbor. Have those kind of relationships. It doesn't mean you're going to spend the night at your neighbors or send your children to spend nights there, but just have, people you can easily talk to, even your family, your relatives, your siblings, your in-laws. Build those positive relationships. Encouragement and praise is important. Offer praise where it is due. Provide regular encouragements. Celebrate achievements. The children who we've seen in the media who have committed suicide because they were forced to do they were forced to offer combinations that they were not happy about. And they felt so lost and so hopeless. They ended their lives because they were not doing well in the first place. So whatever it is, if they have not been able to make it, to achieve certain grades that will take them to where you as a parent, you predetermine that this is where they should be. Remember, there's a God who created them, who even has a much bigger and better purpose for them than you, the parent. So encourage those, celebrate their achievements, but even yourself, celebrate your achievements. When you do that, you're building resilience, you're fostering a supportive environment. Have access to resources. It is beautiful that we are all here listening to these resources. Ensure that you access mental health resources and supportive services. You never know when you will need them or when you'll need to refer someone for these services. And then I'll sneak this in, praying for mental health. The Bible tells us that we should pray without ceasing. Yeah, there's power in prayer. And prayer is not just specific to other things, but we can also pray for mental health. When we do this, we find emotional comfort. Prayer provides a sense of peace and emotional relief. It helps individuals cope with stress and anxiety. Spiritual connection, we find that through prayer. And prayer deepens your spiritual connection and trust in God's plan. And it helps you foster hope and resilience. Prayer also fosters a certain sense of community support. When you have a group that you pray with together, as a family, as friends, as a community, it helps strengthen bonds and it provides mutual support. So, dear parents, as we work on the mental health of others, it's also important to create time for self-care. I know you work so hard. You're thinking about the children, the family, the husband, the wife, the mother-in-law, the mother, the brother, the everyone. But it's important for you to also care for your own mental health. So when we focus on self-care, it has mental health benefits because self-care helps you reduce stress and anxiety and depression, and it leads to a more balanced and positive mental status. So you might ask, so what does self-care mean? back to what I just talked about, taking care of yourself, pray, take walks, exercise, eat healthy, sleep, rest, meditate, engage in hobbies. All that is self-care. It improves your mental health. It enhances resilience because you take time for yourself to improve your emotional resilience, and it helps you to better handle the challenges of parenting. But it also improves your relationships because studies have shown that parents who practice self-care are more patient, they're more understanding, and more connected with their children and spouses. Role modeling. Demonstrating self-care will also teach the children in your household the importance of maintaining their well-being. They see you watching what you eat, they see you working out, they'll also do that. They see you reading, they'll also be interested in knowing, what are you reading? Why do you read that? Remember, monkey see, monkey do. So, some mental health resources in Uganda, we offer therapy. Dr. Nsubuga talked about the therapy. There's individual therapy, which are personalized one-on-one sessions. They're group therapies. They're facilitated sessions where individuals with similar issues come together. But there's also family therapy that brings together family members in therapeutic sessions to communicate and resolve conflicts. We also have support groups like peer support groups, family-like networks. Network has those peer support groups. So it's important that you also speak with them and see how you can engage your children, even in your local communities and churches. Community-based support like local initiatives. And these are often led by NGOs or community health workers to provide mental health support within our communities. It's important as we come towards the end of this presentation, it's important to break stigma around mental health. Many of the worst outcomes we see of mental health as a result of stigma. People fear to come out. And because people fear to come out, we see very worse outcomes that we could have, ideally we could have stopped or managed. So some common stigma that is surrounding mental health is some people perceive it as weakness, or people have not prayed enough. So mental health issues are often viewed as a sign of personal weakness or failure. Some people are branded, you guys do not pray enough, or you guys have not sought help enough. Fear of judgment. Individuals fear being judged or discriminated against if they disclose that they are struggling with mental health or they have family of children with mental health issues. Lack of understanding. Misconceptions about mental health conditions have led to ignorance and fear. Cultural beliefs. Many of us in certain cultures, we believe that mental health issues as a result of supernatural forces or moral failings. This is an illness. These are illnesses, and we need to seek the appropriate help. Shame and embarrassment. People often feel ashamed. They feel embarrassed to seek help for mental health issues. So then how do we break this stigma? We break it by encouraging help-seeking behaviors. And breaking stigmas is important because once we've broken the stigma, we've created an environment where people now can freely seek help. They can freely talk about their mental health issues. Breaking stigma promotes awareness and education. It fosters inclusive communities because the stigma has been demystified. So people now feel comfortable enough to come out, to speak out, and then they'll find help and they'll find support. It also improves the overall mental health outcomes. Breaking stigma as Christian helps reflect Christ's love and acceptance. As Christians, when we break the stigma, it aligns with the teachings of Christ. It aligns, it's important. It helps us know that people are not condemned, that we take on everyone. We accept everyone as they come. So it's important that we break stigma that is surrounding mental illness. So there's some crisis situations, and many times It's in the crisis situation. In many times, it's the crisis situation that takes us to hospital. So identifying crisis situations, for example, identify suicidal thoughts, expressions of hopelessness, feelings of being trapped, someone talking about wanting to die, or it's better for them to be dead, or they want to end someone else's life or their own lives. We look for ways to commit. Some people look for ways to commit suicide. So look out for them, because these people go as far as, using their phones. They go on social media, they go on Google to look for ways in which they can end their lives. Please identify those and seek immediate help. Another crisis situation is the self-harm, engaging in behaviors that intentionally cause injury to self, such as cutting or burning. And you'll constantly notice frequent and unexplained injuries or scars on an individual. This is a red flag. Seek immediate help. Wearing long sleeves and pants, even when it is hot. We've seen many people who have covered themselves. It is so hot, but they're still wearing heavy jumpers. You want to follow that through and see. They could be hiding certain injuries. Severe anxiety or panic attacks is another crisis situation. So you notice intense episodes of fear or discomfort. Someone who used to sleep comfortably in their bedroom, they now want to come and crawl in your bed, in an adult's bed. Severe anxiety, sweating, palpitations, hyperventilation, shortness in breath, and then a feeling of loss of control or impending doom. When you notice this, seek immediate help. Psychotic episodes, experiencing hallucinations, usually seeing or hearing things that other people do not see, or having delusions, exhibiting disorganized thinking or behavior, and then extreme anger or aggression. Seek immediate help. Oh, sorry, let me go back. So then what's the role of the family? It is our role as families to detect and identify mental health issues early. Let us recognize the early signs and symptoms of mental health, like we've talked about. Encourage timely professional intervention to prevent escalation. It's our role to create a supportive environment, foster a loving and supporting home atmosphere. Be the one that your children run to. Be those parents that your children want to run and come and share their issues with. But also be an individual that people want to run to and share. Ensure open communication and a safe space for expressing emotions. It is our role as a family to encourage healthy lifestyle habits, promote regular exercises, make sure we have balanced nutrition, have adequate sleep, limit time with the phones, support hobbies and activities that reduce stress and improve mental well-being. Know your children's friends. When they tell you they're going for sleepovers, you really want to interrogate that question and find out, who are they going to see? Do you know the parents? Do you know the children? How do they behave? Provide emotional support. Be empathetic. Be understanding and provide non-judgmental listening. Your child might come to you and tell you, I messed up, I'm expecting. What is your first, how do you express yourself immediately? They tell you, I have a crush on someone. How do you respond immediately? Be very non-judgmental, because the very first thing that you say and do, even your non-verbal expression at that point in time, will either make this person reach out to you often or will make them stop reaching out to you. Model positive behavior as families. Demonstrate healthy coping strategies and stress management techniques. Don't go take alcohol, come shout the whole night. Seek help as well. If you have arguments, don't do them in front of the rest of the family. Get a safe space where you can also speak and de-escalate this before you go home. Have more positive ways of coping. Engage in your own self-care. Seek help when you need it. Many people think that going to a counselor, looking for a psychologist or a psychiatrist is only for people who are mad. No, we all need these check-ins every now and again. Reduce stigma. We already talked about that. As families, let us reduce stigma. Let us also strengthen family bonds. Spend quality time together. Build strong, supportive relationships. We have siblings. Our children don't even know their cousins. Yes, it's important that our children know each other. It's important that they know auntie so-and-so, uncle so-and-so, grandma so-and-so, and also be mindful of what you say about auntie or uncle so-and-so, or grandma or grandpa so-and-so in your children's presence. You want to be a person who builds and strengthens family bonds, as opposed to the one who breaks the bonds. Engage in family activities that promote unity and collective well-being. The last thing you want is for later on your children, when they're ready for marriage, to come and introduce to you their cousin. So engage in activities that promote unity and collective well-being. So as I conclude, let us support mental health in our families by recognizing the signs of mental illness, encouraging open communication, seeking professional help when needed, and fostering a stigma-free, supportive environment. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you all.
Wow, wow, ladies and gentlemen, if I were you, I would be in the chat room giving a hand clap, giving some flowers to our presenters. Please go and pick some flowers, and let's give Dr. Joy and let's give Dr. Subuga for really giving and sharing their insights. Dr. Joy, you've done wonderfully well. Thank you so much for that very insightful presentation. We are asking for the slides, and we can promise that the slides will be shared via the WhatsApp group of Family Life Network. And so the links have been shared. Please go in there. You'll also find Dr. Joy in the group. Her contacts will be shared, and feel free to, just get in touch with her and interact with her, even at a personal level. As she mentioned, you may need some people to talk to, and she's mentioned also the mental health resources that are around us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Dr. Joy. You've done us really, really well. And so, ladies and gentlemen, our time is fast spent. We have 8 minutes to 6 p.m. and would like to bring this to a close. There's more interaction that will be happening on the WhatsApp platform, but for now, we would like to open up room for Q&A. And I don't know if my sister Tama is there. Please come in and let's and moderate the Q&A session, and let's make sure that many of our questions are responded to. Tama, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much, Anita. Thank you, Dr. Subuga. Thank you very much, Dr. Joy, for these great presentations. We appreciate you very much. We have a number of questions in the chat room. Let me just read maybe 3, and then we'll have responses. We don't have any that is directed to any of the presenters, but please feel free to respond.
Excuse me, Tama.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, Tama.
Yes.
There are some which I had written down, which were direct questions.
Okay, then you can read those, please.
They're just brief, actually.
It's
because
okay.
the first
Please
one
read
was someone just said the very vital messages. Dr. Nsubuga needed more time to share with us. So that was a concern from someone, that they needed to give Dr. Nsubuga more time, share with them. And then the second one was, can you please outline the ABCD formula again, which Dr. Nsubuga did. And then the third question was, how best can one help a child who is under the guardianship of parents who have issues of mental health, illness, for example, anger outbursts, shouting, absentia, and mostly violent? That was directed to Dr. Nsubuga. And then this question was directed to Dr. Noria. What do you do to a stressed person who doesn't believe open communication? Stressed but can't share out. And then the rest was basically appreciations from the different facilitators. Thank you. Over to you, Tama.
Thank you very much, Anita. Probably we could give an opportunity to Dr. Nsubuga to respond to what you have shared already.
Thank you very much. I think I have one. And that one question, I want us to operate in a perfect environment. And I think one of the things we need to learn, and that's why the idea of being, the moment you who is concerned about this kid, it's very important that you have a moment and you listen to them. It doesn't matter whether they have been injured in some other environment. The beauty of human beings is that even if we have had some bit of challenges somewhere, we can always be support. We can always get ourselves. We can always be supported and regain the wounded on us in some way. That person, you say, how do you feel about this? That is, how does it make you feel? And then they tell you it's not their making that they are in such a setting, but what is happening is that's where they happen to be, and you let them you let them know that you are concerned about what they are going through, and in case you have a way of taking them away, that's okay. But in case they don't have a way out of that situation, then you can still support them and let them know that it's children. You might have to go through that, but they have to hang in there, and things are going to get better later, because at some point you have no way. They must live in such an environment, which is kind of sick in a way and sickening, but your role then is to support them to build the resilience, as Doctor has been saying. Just because sometimes it's difficult to have the best environment for them to grow. But if it's not so injurious that they are going to die or something, then they have to stay in there. But then what you do is the social support. Because actually one of the things that has been found in research is that social support builds resilience. And that's why prayer is very important at this point. There are 10 things. Faith is one of the core. When they did a study among those people, those guys in Vietnam, those who survived, faith was one of the greatest things. So you encourage them to continue to be faithful. If they have any faith they attach to, but also social support, knowing that somebody cares out there. No matter what struggles they are going through, they are going to hang in there, and they are going to come out resilient, and they are going to thrive still. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nsubuga. I hope the person who asked the question has been helped. I request you, my dear Anita, to read through the next questions, the 3 of them, then we'll have some response.
Oh, it's
Our
Jackie.
time is very fast spent. Yes, Jackie,
Oh,
please go ahead.
Yeah, it's just reading the questions. And yes, Dr. Suga has answered the question, and I believe the person who asked it was able to take what they needed out of that question. The next one, which was directed to Dr. Joy, was what do you do to a stressed person who doesn't believe in open communication, yet in brackets, yet they are stressed but can't share out?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. We have what we call bibliotherapy. It's really giving reading material. So at times, if you're not able to talk, you can send materials, send nice, encouraging, small, short stuff that they can read. And these can be very, very eye-opening. Very eye-opening. So, we have what we call the stages of change. And I believe Dr. Nsovoga is very much better versed with this. But when we're looking at the stages of change, there are people who are in the pre-contemplation stage of change. They've not even thought about the need to change or seek help. So those particular individuals, just reach out and give as much information as you can. These days, we have WhatsApp. You can pick some nice quotes, some nice things that can help them, like case vignettes that can help the person read and see that they too need to seek some support. Just keep sending, keep sending. As they read, even if they blue tick you and say nothing, they are reading. As they read, somehow they slowly move from that stage of change to the next stage of change, to a point where you might be shocked that at some point they'll send you a 2-line message. Where from, and then that will give you an opening into directing those individuals to someone. Just don't give up on anyone. So I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, Dr. Joy, we appreciate that response. Thank you very much. It is now 2 minutes past 6. 2 minutes past the time we are supposed to end. Probably we could request you to allow us 10 minutes just to finish. If it's okay with you, then we can close. There are just 2 questions I would like to read out, and then we'll have a response, and then Anita will come and give us the closing part of this session. Yeah, the other question is, my husband committed suicide, and at burial, there was too much circus by relatives. How can I help my children since they are candidates? We need help here. Please come and respond on this. Very sorry, our dear Ruth, for what happened in this case. Dr. Nsovoga, Dr. Joy, please come and respond to this.
Ruth, we are really sorry about what happened, and you're such an amazing, strong person to come out and post something like this in a group. It is the beginning of getting help. It is the beginning of healing. Please pick any of our numbers. We'll be happy to offer you the personalized support.
Yeah. Sorry, Ruth, about that. It must be painful for you, and I want to still say that that's really courage from you, because you're already wounded, you had a lot of pain, and then you see a lot of this, and then you have to protect these young ones. I think, yeah, you really need the support, because even knowing how to deal with these young ones, because they also suddenly are troubled in a significant way, given what transpired. Still, I would say I would be willing in case you need any support, and probably even to link you to other forms of support in case that's also needed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Henry Nsovuga and Dr. Joy. For that, Ruth, we continue to pray for you, and we are going to follow up on that with support for you, especially from our presenters who are available and are willing to support you on this journey. At this point of time, I want to thank each one of you for having come to log on, and just before we close completely, welcome you, Anita, to come and take us through the closing with the parting shots from our very own speakers and our elder, Stephen Langa. Anita, please take over on this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, there is a last question which was not read. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, it is well.
Yeah, in the chat. In the chat.
What can be done to assist someone with a mental health illness, started drugs at Utabica and dropped? What can be done to restart drugs and support? Yeah, over to you, our guest speakers, for that last question.
Okay. Before you do anything, please get an appointment with the psychiatrists or with a clinical psychologist or with a counseling psychologist. We review the patient, get to know their current state, their current mental state as well, and then we see where to start from. But don't self-medicate. Don't reinstate any medication before they have received a thorough review from a specialist. So still, again, you can reach out to any one of us and we can link you to the resources where they can be able to be reviewed, and then medication will be reinstated.
Yeah, I wanted just to add something small. There is a book that actually has been written by one of the professors from the US with some few Ugandans. They've just been doing a study, and I coordinated the launch of that book. It's called Higher Powers. It's free of charge online, but one of the key things that is in there, especially with the people who are struggling with substance abuse, and the reason religious on this platform, they healed, got out of, as you know, addiction is a sickness, is a disease. They discovered actually they had a to God in that. It's very important also that we don't only look at the say biopsychosocial model. I mean, sometimes we leave out some other aspects. And this time it's very good that we are talking about integrating all that we can to support people. So you might find actually that this person gets to some bit of spiritual attachment, and it boosts both their intake of the mental health services, but also finally they completely get off because of the strength of the spiritual element in the healing process. So I would say also it's very important in case they have any attachment. So you need to strengthen that bit. Or bring it to them also, because it might be that you need to introduce it to them, and that might change the game. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Joy and Dr. Nsubuga, again, for these very insightful sessions. I am more than sure, that many of us on call have not gone away the same. Thank you so much, and may God continue blessing you and giving you wisdom in your endeavors as you continue to transform lives across this country, but also globally. Thank you. Thank you very much. One thing that stands out clearly from our presenters is we need to learn how to create a safe space first for ourselves, and they talked about self-care. This doesn't mean we go and buy chips, chicken, pizza, and ice cream for ourselves. Dr. Joy emphasized we need to eat healthy. So as you're taking care of yourself, please mind your body, mind your soul, but also mind your spiritual well-being, because all these affect our mental well-being. Yes, and go ahead to create a safe space for your children as you model, because monkey see, monkey do, as Dr. Joy said. So what they see us do is what they will do. And then go ahead and create a safe space for others so that people reach out to you for help. But yeah, so that people also get to accommodate you into their space. They feel comfortable with you when you're around. So thank you so much. At this juncture, I would like to bring back our speakers to give us their parting shots in just a minute, and then we'll have Elder Langa also give us his parting shots. Then we'll close it off with a prayer. I'll start with Dr. Nsubuga. Please come and give us your parting shots, and then we'll have Dr. Joy.
Thank you very much, Anita, and thank you very much, Family Life Network, and thank you very much, everyone, for being part of this. I want to thank in a special way my co-presenter. He did an elaborate job, and I think it's so beautiful that she did is wonderful. That what we need, I think, to get back, I think there is a lot of running and less time to reflect on what is going on. To start within ourselves, but also those around us. I think there is too much running, and it's time that we took time off, and always take time off to check how we are and how those around us are. I'm very sure if we do that, we're certainly going to do under the mental health of the loved ones. So that's going to be my parting shot. So let's do that. When we do that, we shall have loved ourselves. We are going to extend, we are going to be warm, we are going to be warmer to ourselves, but also to the people around us. And certainly the ripple effects are going to be enormous. And the whole world will be a better place than we found it. Thank you very much. And let's be our brothers' keepers. I think what is also making all these challenges bigger is the fact that we have become a little bit so self-centered and less connected to other people. We would tell ourselves many people are connected more to the people on social media than even those people around them. So I think that's what is something that we must strengthen. Badly, we know it, but we are put mental health at the center of our homes, but also connected to other aspects. Let us pray, because when you pray, then as studies have already shown, your mental health suddenly is going to be in better shape. When you do physical exercise, your mental health is going to be in better shape. So all those things, so let's combine them, and I think we shall glorify our Lord better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nsubuga. Yes, Dr. Joy, please let's have your parting shots.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank the entire Family Life Network and Parenting Group for inviting me and having me on here to share with you all. It's been a learning process. I've learned from you all as well. I want us to know that mental health is a priority. Our inner peace is very essential, and our self-care is a necessity. They're not just things we run to as a last resort. And as a parting remark, I want to leave you with this quotation that mental health is not a destination, but it is a process. It is not about how we drive, As it's also not about where we are going. It's about how we get there. So let's do whatever it is to harness that process, to move along with the people around us, but not forgetting ourselves in the process. Thank you so much, and I wish you a blessed week ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. That's a very profound quote, and I've noted it down. Elder Langa, please, you're welcome. Please do share with us and give us your final remarks.
Thank you very, very much. First of all, our presenters, Dr. Subuga and Dr. Joy, we are so grateful. We are indebted to you for the wonderful information and the insight that you have actually given to us. Thank you also, our coordinators, our moderators, for really giving us a very, very smooth ride through this webinar or through this virtual parent seminar. I also want to thank each of you who has taken the time to really be with us. I know we've gone over time, but I believe it is for a just cause. We are so grateful for your time. And we look forward to your participation in future meetings. Every month we'll have. So first Sunday of the month, first Sunday in the afternoon, just leave it open. We are going to be there either physically or virtually. I want to say, therefore, on behalf of Beatrice, my dear wife, and I, that we are so happy. And you know, for us really noticing that people like Dr. Joy were part of the people we mentored as they were younger, just brings us so much joy and so much happiness. And even the people who are in the, coordinating and moderating and so on, to see that they're all people who have one way or another passed through our hands. We are happy people. We are really happy people to see that people have come up, people have learned. And together we really want to say that we are committed to see that families are better. I keep saying that Beatrice and I, we are trusting God that since we've been called in the area of family, we want to really see that by the time we die, at least families are happier. Parenting is better. Marriages are happier and courtship is better. That's the dream of our lives. And I believe that those of you who are here and others who are going to come are part and parcel of that journey. It's not one man and one woman. No, we only provide leadership, but really all of you in one way or another are part of this. And let's work together, like Dr. Suga said, so that we can build a happier community, happier families and all that. Because you know what? Transforming a nation begins with transforming the family institution. So let's work towards a better Uganda through our work as parents. Let us parent better children, have better families and so on. Then our whole Uganda will be better. So with those words, have a wonderful month until we meet again. But let's meet virtually where we can continue sharing thoughts and ideas. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of this Sunday. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Elder Langa. Thank you, and thank you so much for that wonderful message that is releasing us to go and enjoy the rest of the evening. But ladies and gentlemen, for those of us on call, before we go, let's have a moment of prayer and commit all that we've learned to God and pray that the Holy Spirit will help the seeds that have been planted in our hearts in regards to dealing with mental health. May they sprout. So let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, first of all, we want to thank you for creating such opportunities like this. Not everybody takes advantage of them, but you've brought us here for a purpose at such a time as this. I want to thank you for Family Life Network, for the work they are doing and for the ministry. May you continue to bless it and lift it, not only in Uganda, but also globally, because whatever we are benefiting from them, many other people across the globe would like to benefit from it. I want to thank you for our wonderful facilitators this evening. Dr. Nsubuga and Dr. Joy, they've done us well. You tell us in your word that your people perish because of lack of knowledge. And indeed, we've been perishing in areas of mental health, and we've been struggling with mental illnesses because we probably lacked the knowledge. Now, Lord, as you would have it, we have the knowledge now. May we use it for your glory. May we use it to better ourselves, to better our families, and to better those around us. You also tell us in your word not to be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present our requests known to you. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening to present our requests to you, that Lord,
My name is Munzir Dale. I'm a professor of electrical engineering and computer science at MIT. The partnership that we have with professional education has allowed us to